welcome back to my channel. I've just finished my birthday week and had my best friend come and visit me from New Zealand, which was absolutely amazing. I threw a mini bush for my party and it was so cool to reflect on all of the amazing connections I've made since moving to the Gold Coast. So I'm feeling high on life at the moment, and it's my first day back on my own today. Because I'm an introvert, I have to actually recharge like after socializing a lot. So I'm like, yes, my first day back to myself, and I've been so productive. I've mapped out my whole business and life for the next month, like worked on my goals, reflected on last month, and I actually just wrote a whole ebook. And it just goes to show that, especially if you're someone who suffers from creative block and things like that, and especially burnout, taking time out is really productive, because there's been all these things I've been trying to work on, and like I just wasn't making progress in any area and was just stressing myself out about it. So by taking the time out, I've just thought of the best ideas. And even with this video, I thought of this idea at like midnight or like 2 a.m. I just woke up and I'm like, that's the idea, and like quickly put it into the notes on my phone and went back to sleep. Boom, now I've got this whole amazing YouTube video. Just wrote a whole ebook with 25 content ideas for holistic nutritionists and health coaches. So it can probably also apply if you're like a personal trainer, but just relating those things to the fitness space instead. So I wanted to make this video because I've been on social media for a little while now, coming up probably about 5 years ago. I decided to start taking it seriously. I've posted pretty much at least 5 days a week since then, and I've been working on all my channels. I learned how to do YouTube. I started my own podcast. I just made a TikTok, so I'm still relatively new to that. And making content is probably one of my funnest activities, because you can be as creative as you like. You can write about anything that comes to your mind. You can help change people's lives, inspire them, teach them something new, help them feel empowered. And it's just like the future of business. Like, this is where we meet our potential clients. This is where we connect with them. This is how we build our audience. And it's how we establish our personal or business brand online. The biggest thing I hear most people say is that they don't have the time to do it, or especially they don't know what to write. So you kind of just got to get into the flow and habit of things. Like, I've got a note section on my phone. If I think of a content or topic idea, I write it down straight away that I can expand on later, or just put down the bullet points at least. And I've got a special photos folder in my phone, so whenever I do new photo shoots or take content for myself, I've got all those photos to post in its own folder and then delete them as I go, so I'm not doing double ups or trying to find photos like in a whole list of things on my phone. I plan everything out in advance, about 3 weeks, because I have so much to talk about that like I can't wait to get through it and can't wait to post every day. And in terms of time, it can be time consuming, but you can make it something fun as well. So especially if you're working a full-time job and you're wanting to be completely self-employed, just doing it at nighttime or doing it in the weekends when you've got the good daylight, and just planning it out. Like, if you've got a reel to do, like I actually put it in your to-do list on a certain day, just so like things don't build up, and then just make it as you go. It's better to create a few pieces of good quality content than lots of pieces of low quality content. But personally, I post so often just because it's so fun to make. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cassie Amber. I'm a plant-based holistic nutritionist, and I'm also training for my second bodybuilding show, which is the WBFF. So I like to combine lots of different things: plant-based eating, business, lifestyle, bodybuilding. And I'm also big into, like the holistic approach and intuitive eating kind of style. So I like to cover all that kind of thing. And if you think you'll like more content like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And you can check me out on socials as well. All the links will be in the description below. So let's get into it. Which platforms to focus on? Instagram will always have my heart, but everyone has been saying, especially over the last year or even 2 years, it's been extremely hard to grow. Mine has kind of been a bit stagnant for a while, so I'm just trying to nurture the current relationships I have, try to connect with people on my stories, create shareable content, and I've really been getting into Reels as well, because that's really going to help your reach, because that's what Instagram is prioritizing at the moment. TikTok, I had so much like pushback against this. I did not want to go on there. I hated it. It's just a silly dance app for young people and for kids. I was like, I'm not going on there. I hated it. And finally, I made one and I've started to get into the flow. Probably since I started creating more reels, the trick that I do is I create a reel on Instagram and then you put it into a different website to download it off Instagram without the watermark, and then you can upload straight to TikTok fresh. So if you upload to TikTok with the watermark still on there, they're going to limit your reach because they want you to make it on their own platform. So I make a reel and then download it, upload to TikTok straight away, and I'm hitting both platforms at the same time. So that's my little trick. You can also do the vice versa. There's a website called Snaptik, or just search TikTok downloader for Instagram and lots of things will come up. So if you want to do TikTok, you can download them and put them straight onto Reels. TikTok is the place where you're going to get the reach because it's a lot easier to grow. It's still a newer platform, and because your YouTube and Instagram can be in the TikTok bio, if you get some viral videos or just some bigger reach on there, then they can click onto your profile and then access your other platforms from there. So I would say an Instagram growth hack is actually to grow on TikTok. So I'm trying to be more regular with that and slowly get into it and start making more short form videos. YouTube, I'm still relatively new to. I've only been doing it 1 or 2 years. I try to do one video a week, but some weeks that doesn't always happen. Where I'm living at the moment in the country, it actually takes me 5 days to upload a YouTube video. So I record it, I edit it, I make all the graphics for it, create all the social media promotions and the podcast cover, because I also double up on platforms for that as well. And then click upload, and it won't be up until about 5 days later. So there's been a couple times where I went to upload and then it's just corrupted when it's like 75% done, and I'm like, oh cool, another week away and then it will be up there. So that's something I'm trying to stay on top of as well, and it is very time consuming. But YouTube is also a search channel, so whatever people are searching for, if you create topics around your niche, say if I'm doing plant-based nutrition, so I could look at what are some common questions about that, like how to get your protein on a plant-based diet, can you do bodybuilding on a plant-based diet, or best ways to grow muscle on a plant-based diet, or something like that. And just make whole lists of things, and when people Google will search that in, that will pop up, and it's also easy to grow your brand on there as well. But it's a good way to just connect with your audience in longer form content. Podcasting. Not everyone needs to have a podcast, because I know so many people are starting them now. I kind of had this vision years ago. I'm like, I just had this dream that I was interviewing this person on my podcast, and I was like, my dreams have kind of been showing me what's possible lately, because even with the WBFF bodybuilding show, a lot of these girls just competed in Vegas, and I just had a dream, and my whole dream was me trying to board the flight to go compete in Vegas, and I hadn't even thought about that. So I woke up and I'm like, well, that's an idea. Thanks, dreams, for like opening my mind to what's possible. But I'm pretty sure I just dreamt about it years ago, and then I just decided to make one day. So I also double up my content for that, just so that I'm personally saving time, because I have quite a lot on my plate. So I'll record a YouTube video, I edit it in iMovie, so I export as an MP4, start uploading to YouTube to go live in 5 days, and then I'll export the audio and start uploading that to my podcast, and then it's just easier. Like if someone wants to watch the video, they can. Every night I fall asleep watching and listening to YouTube videos, but I prefer listening to podcasts if I'm driving, if I'm walking the dog, or if I'm just out doing things, or even cleaning and stuff like that. So both can be helpful for both different scenarios. Podcasting is very hard to reach new audiences with it, so try to get reviews, try to promote it on other platforms like your website and out to your email list. But it's a good way, like the engagement is so good with podcasting, because if someone's on the transit to work, let's say, they've got you in their ear talking to them, and they're pretty much taking in everything you say the whole time, whereas on a different thing like Instagram, it's literally a split second they're seeing something, quickly read through it, next. But on podcasting, they're really listening to what you've got to say. So yeah, it's a really good way to build those relationships and really get your knowledge and expertise out there. Facebook. I think that's really going out now. I like on my personal page, I basically just post on there for like my nana and my mum to see. There's like a few people on there, like I barely go on, but I do copy Instagram posts to there because you still can reach a certain demographic of audience if that's your goal. So it still is handy to have, people still use it, but I just don't prioritize that as the first thing in today's world where TikTok is blowing up so much and all these other platforms instead. Number 2, educate, entertain, and inspire, the 3 content pillars that I recommend. So I would like you to think about how you can benefit their day, how you can be front of mind when it comes to their niche. Like if someone's friend comes to them and they're like, hey, I want to go plant-based, but I don't really know what to do, or I'm worried that I'll lose my gains, and this person is like, oh, I've been following this girl Cassie for years, get in contact with her, she does meal plans, blah blah blah, because I've been in the forefront of their mind this whole entire time. So how can you be at the front of their mind when they need help with whatever it is that you offer? With feed planning, I sort all my photos on the Plan app, so I want to make it visually appealing when someone comes on. I like dragging and dropping them all around. Like I don't want all these bunch of food photos and a bunch of close-up face photos and a bunch of this all in the same color. I like to space it out so it's like all aesthetically pleasing. So I love the app for that. And yeah, as I mentioned before, whenever I think of captions, I put it straight into the notes on my phone or straight into the Plan app, and I basically just write it out straight away. If there's something I see on social media or I'm out and about and I see something, or even I used to work at a health store, so I'd talk about common questions that I would get asked, or like how people would come in just wanting the quick pill for everything to make all their weight loss dreams come true and stuff. I'll just write down bullet points like, oh, that's a good topic idea, that's a good topic idea, and then when you have the spare time, then you can expand on that. Share your story and struggles. People want to be able to relate to you. They want to know what you've overcome. With me, I went plant-based years ago. I watched these documentaries and made the switch because of all the benefits of disease prevention, but I actually cured all my digestion and bloating issues. I used to have IBS symptoms. I've talked about it lots on my channel, but it was very bad. I would be pregnant after each meal. I'd only go to the bathroom twice a week, and I fixed it all through food alone. And now my digestion is perfect. So I want to help other people do the same. And then I've also gotten into basically just weight management, or you could call it body recomp as well, like weight loss and muscle gain, because I unintentionally stripped all the fat off my body. I completely transformed my physique. This is paired with weight training. And now I'm doing plant-based bodybuilding, which is very uncommon because they think it's so hard and like you can't get lean because it's got so many carbs and the protein is not superior and all these things. So I like to just prove people wrong. So share your story, like whatever your niche is. Why did you get into it? Why did you want to make that your business kind of thing? I study through a company called AFPA. If you're still looking to gain your certification or diploma or anything like that, the AFPA, it stands for American Fitness Professionals and Associates. So I only chose that one because I wanted to do a plant-based course. I didn't want to do standard nutrition. It's like recommending to everyone to drink milk and stuff like that. Like I wanted plant-based nutrition, and it focused on the blue zones. So I'll put links to that one below as well, but there's lots of different things you can choose from, lots of different fitness certifications, just things that can help add things to your resume and just give you that little bit more experience and knowledge. So there's lots of things to choose from in there. And then every 2 years for the one I'm doing, you just have to renew your qualification. So one of the courses I chose was how environmental toxins can affect our hormones, and that's related to all the plastics in our environment and the pesticides in our food and what we can do about it and help detox our bodies. So I found that one super interesting. And the other one I did was anti-nutrients in food, like how certain kind of plants have protective properties, but does that outweigh the benefits of actually eating them? Because there's so much stuff online like, oh my god, all these people going carnivore and they're like, vegetables are so bad for you. But when you look at the research, it's like the people who still eat the most vegetables still actually live longer and have the least amount of degenerative disease compared to people on the standard Western diet and things like that. So I thought it was interesting to look into that. So I'll link AFPA below because I just thought it was really, really cool. I could study in my own time, and it was super helpful just to get started on this venture that I chose. Number 4, create short form videos. The attention span of our generation including me, is very bad. I will be like listening to a business YouTube video in bed and scrolling Instagram or TikTok with talking over the top, and this is so bad. And it's like I listen to both of them, and like, yeah, they say you can't take in both information, but like our attention span is so bad we can't even focus on one thing. So I just turned 26 and think about the younger generation. It's like going in their head all the time. So short form videos capture their attention straight away, make it to the point. And because that kind of content is really prioritized at the moment, as I said before, Instagram's really pushing it out. You can post on TikTok like 5 or 6 times a day. Personally, I don't, because I want to use the same content for Instagram, which I space out. So I probably post on there a handful of times a week, but I'm just starting to get into it and thinking of short form video ideas. So instead of putting something into the caption with bullet points, I'll make a little video like 5 ways of blah blah blah, and then like point to it, or do little recipe videos or different things like that. There's so much that you can make. It's just a bit of a shift in mindset to, instead of take a photo and write a caption, see if you can turn it into a video on Instagram Reels or TikTok instead. Software that I use for my business. Canva is one of them. That's where I create all of my graphics, my YouTube video covers, all my promotional material, my ebook covers, short digital guides, my lead magnet. Like I use it for so many different things. And even if you want to write like a little quote or a health tip for social media, it's going to help make it look more visually appealing. I schedule my content for social media using a platform called Plan, and that allows you to drag and drop. You can schedule your post, so it will send you either a little alert, or you can choose to auto post. I use Bluehost for my website hosting, and I think it's important to still have a website because you need a home base to list all of your things. Even if it's like just so basic, I think it's still good to have one. And also a mailing list, because your social media channels, something could happen at any time. Like someone could hack your account and it gets deleted, or the social media thing could go down. Like remember a while ago, like on TikTok, they were almost going to ban it in some countries. So things can just happen at any time. So an email list is also quite important. If you're creating YouTube videos, you can't just find your favorite song that's on the radio and put it on top of your YouTube video due to copyright infringement. So personally, I use Epidemic Sound. It's a small monthly fee, but you can search from a whole library of all these different genres. It's nice to find just nice background music or anything just for the transitions, or especially if you're doing vlogs and stuff online, at least you've got rights to that music. The ebook I created today, Social Media Tips for Holistic Nutritionists and Health Coaches, I've got a whole list of all the stuff with all the links directly to it, and little tips on how to grow your brand on social media, which is like a step further from this video that I'm making. So if you want to know more, make sure you click the link below to download it for free. Collaborate to grow and create shareable content. Collaborating really helps, because if you're making content with someone and you share it to each other's stories, like people are obviously going to see your photo pop up in the tag and click on your profile. There's another thing you can do if you are actually collaborating with someone. You can tag them as a collaborator on an Instagram post. So that means it'll say your name and their name, and it pops up on both of your feeds and alerts both of your audiences. So that's a really good way to tap into new markets. And shareable content, this can be anything, like different tips, different things you've learned. If you're making carousels, make sure each piece of the thing can be shared to someone's story if it really resonated with them. And I just made my first piece of comedy content. Usually it's just like me, like usually in my photos it's just me laughing or me holding food or me in a photo shoot or something. But I made a comedy reel with my best friend, because we both love dubstep and electronic music and health. So we created like a rave ready workout with us like headbanging and stuff. So at the point of videoing this right now, we've hit almost 10,000 plays, which is big for us. It's just so funny, like of us going around the gym, like running to the next stage and like getting into the mosh pits and fist pumping and stuff like that. So that was so much fun to make, and we got an amazing response, so many likes, so many comments, because it was just so different and out there from our like usual content. So try think of ways that you can make people laugh, or at least make their day, and turn things a little bit funny. if you don't want it to be so serious and educational all the time. Create a lead magnet and have a call to action. A lead magnet is something that people can download for free to sign up to their mailing list. So you want it to be something super exciting that's going to help benefit their lives and give them a short burst of information that's useful to whatever they're going through. So my current lead magnet is my free PANTRY essentials guide. So it's just a few ingredients that I like to keep on hand for a healthy body, lots of energy, good digestion, things like that, and to maintain my physique. If they download that for free, it's got like links to my other social media channels. They'll then sign up to my mailing list. So I send out a weekly email on a Monday at the start of every week to help start off their week on the right foot. So that will be a different tip or educational thing or a new recipe or something like that, or something motivational. And then I also send out a monthly newsletter that's a roundup of all my latest content, any promotional deals, anything I'm working on, anything I'm launching, just anything new that they could benefit from. So I list my lead magnets and all my digital products on a platform called PayHip. So that's free to use, and you can connect it to Stripe, so the payment processing is super easy. And I also embed mine into my Bluehost and WordPress website. So I've got a shop page and I can embed all my ebooks on there, and it's all just kept together. It's like so easy to use. It's the best. And ConvertKit is what I use for my email software. So it just basically simplifies all your marketing. You could schedule everything out ahead of time. You can send broadcasts, and it just helps you really build that relationship with your potential clients and past clients and your audience as a whole. Number 8 is topic ideas. And one of my favorite things to do is debunking social media myths, because obviously in the nutrition space and fitness space, there's so much opposing information coming out, and a lot of those people aren't even qualified if they're just influencers or people who are just like so far into a certain niche that it's just crazy. It's like interesting to get into it and then provide different points of view for your audience kind of thing. So that gives you so many topic ideas. Whenever you see some crazy videos pop up, you can create a stitch on TikTok and like add your video to the second half of it kind of thing, or just make your own video based on that topic as a whole. You can do diet comparisons like carnivore versus vegan. That's always an interesting one because they're two of the leading diets and the opposite sides of the spectrum. But you could also do like Mediterranean, like what's the difference between Mediterranean and this other kind of diet, like vegetarian or something. And you could also make content on how to cure or support your body through such and such issue, like if you have painful digestion and bloating, or if you experience really bad period pain, or if you have hormonal imbalances. You could talk about like the best foods to help with blah blah blah. So in that ebook that I created, once again, link is in the description, you can download for free. I've given 25 topic ideas for holistic nutritionists, health coaches. It can also apply if you're personal trainers as well. So don't forget to download that for the full list of content ideas. How much of your real life to share? This one can be a little bit difficult, and I'm reflecting heaps now. When I was younger, I used to overshare everything and talk about everything bad that was happening, like, oh my God, I'm going through this and this. But I think that's just an age and maturity thing, and you can't go back in time now. But people do still like to know a bit more about the face of the brand. Let's say they don't want it to just be about business, or if you are a business with several employees, you could talk a little bit about which each employee specializes in, or get them to take turns doing stuff, so it's like a bit more interactive and they can really see who the face behind the brand is. They want it to be personalized and know who they're working with. But if you're just a sole trader or like a sole entrepreneur, people do like to still know some of your struggles. They like to still know about the bad days. I think it's important to show some kind of insight, so it's not just like positive all the time or just business marketing all the time. They want to know what you're getting up to. Just like sharing bits and pieces, and it makes it a lot more personalized. And I think last but not least is just to be yourself. Really embrace your imperfections, especially with the body positive movement. Accounts that are showing their their cellulite on their thighs, their stretch marks, people with, different conditions on their skin. Those accounts are blowing up because it just helps people relax a little bit when it comes to their own personal image. There's another interesting personal trainer I follow who has a bit of a different approach on things. Instead of being like, yeah, you need to be getting to the gym and you need to be eating strict and tracking everything, they're like, oh, maybe you should just take the day off the gym and go have a bath, or go lay naked in the sun, or just like he's encouraging them to do the opposite. And it kind of just makes you think like, oh, I can relax a little bit and it's not going to negatively affect my physique. It'll probably help my physique because I'm not in a state of fight or flight all the time and like in my stress response with my adrenals going crazy. Like, it's just really cool to see someone with a bit of a different approach. So just be yourself, even if it doesn't like necessarily make you fit in, because you want to be different. You want to have a different point of view. You want to stand out from the crowd and for people to know why to choose you instead of the next person. I also like that Gary Vee, I don't really listen to him anymore, but I've just heard some snippets of him saying like, don't create what you know people will give you likes for. Create the content that you want to create, because that might help you blow up in the future. And then you're not trying to like be someone you're not. You're going to be exactly who you want to be. If people meet you in real life, you want them to think that you're exactly the same as how you are online, and you're not like especially over editing your photos to take out tiny imperfections. My best friend really helps with that. I'll freak out and be like, oh my god, but I've got a pimple there, and she's like, honestly, people don't care. They want to see that, and that's what you look like on that day. So like, I basically just enhance the colors of my photos, but if something is wrong, I still think that people are going to be zooming up and staring at that tiny thing, but they really don't care. So just relax when it comes to that, and yeah, really embrace your imperfections, because that is the way the world is going, which is amazing. So that brings us to the end of this video. Don't forget you can check me out on Instagram at Cassie Amber, or on TikTok as well. I've also got a plant-powered podcast where I talk about all things nutrition and wellness on there, so don't forget to subscribe to that one and download the ebook that I just made today, because I'm so proud of it, and it's going to give you some amazing ideas to help take your account to the next level. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to check in for next week for my next video. Thank you for listening.